Mother suffered from dementia and then later Alzheimer's. She had been diagnosed approximately the later half of 2007 that things were not getting better, they were actually getting worse. And at that time my brother and I began to start looking around as to some of the things that we were going to do. One of the things that my mother had expressed to us when we were little is the fact that she never ever wanted to go into a nursing home. She felt that there were so many things that we could do, we just had to get out and find the service. In April of this year, Mom really went downhill, really to the point where when we were at the hospital they told us that we would be lucky to keep Mom awake or alive for the next 2 weeks. At that time we looked in the phone book like a lot of other companies and people do when they're in trouble. You never think of these things until you're in trouble. And we had recommendations from a lot of people and care service and caregivers. And we called some because we were immediately in need of service. There were some problems though when we called some of the caregiver services that came out. One of the biggest problems that we had that was a highly recommended company was we began to realize that every other day we had a different person coming out to see Mom. Nobody on a regular basis. She would get a shower and they would set her in front of the door, the window, and she would be cool, and when she'd ask them to put a shirt or extra t-shirt on them, they did, but they didn't really want to. We were totally lost. We called David on a Thursday night when the last caregiver walked off the job and said that they didn't want to do it anymore. And at that time we called David, and David said that, "Don't worry, we will be there." Within a 6 or 7 hour period of time, David called me back and said, "Wayne, I have a crew of people. When do you want us to start? When can we get in? And what do you need us to do?" We explained to David what we thought should be done. We couldn't tell just in time how to do it because they had already had the blueprint for us to do it. All we had to do was just to follow David just in time's program that they had for us. We were really sad at the end when Mom passed away because we do feel that had we had just-in-time service, Mom would have might not have lived much longer, but we don't know that. We feel that because of the little things that they did, when they would bathe Mom, they would oil her, they would do her hair, they would put Mom in a position where instead of just leaving Mom in a position for 6 or 7 hours, they rotated her every 2 hours like clockwork. The other thing that was really important to us too is the fact that we saw David every day. David was at the house every single day checking on Mom as if it was his own mom. And my brother and I were very, very, very grateful for the service that he provided. The caregivers were more than friendly. There was a warmth about the service that they were providing. It wasn't like some services provide you a service, but the service is cold. The service was warm. Just in Time, I feel, is probably one of the best services that we could have ever had. We went through 5 individual caregivers and 2 different services, and by far Just in Time was more professional. They allowed us to at least not have to worry about things. If there was a problem, Just in Time would take care of it and let us know what the problem was. On the day that my mother passed away, Just in Time was there, David was there. And we cannot say how much we appreciated having someone that cared. And in this business, and as anyone else knows, when you're dealing with a loved one, the only thing you're thinking about is a loved one.